Today we will learn about organizational behavior and leadership. As the name suggests, organizational behavior studies all aspects in which the employees and employers behave in a particular organization. So, it lays emphasis on how employees and employers behave in an organization. In this topic, we would be knowing about the meaning of organizational behavior at the first place, then about the nature of organizational behavior. After this, the determinants of OB, then is administration and its linkage with OB. And finally, behavior model of OB. So, these are the main topics that would be covered under this chapter. First, starting with the meaning of organizational behavior. This basically means how two or more individuals interact with each other within a particular setup. This means if there is an organization that is working and it has several individuals who are working in there, so how in that organization two or more individuals interact with each other in that particular setup. It also can be understood as behavior of people working in an organization so this can be either individual behavior of people and also the how they behave as a group. So, OB can be understood as individual plus group behavior. This meaning and relationship can also be understood with the help of a diagram, which is somewhat like individuals build and form a group, and then all the groups together we call them as an organization. So, this is the entire meaning of OB, in which the behavior between individuals and individuals and group, then all these are studied with respect to a particular organization. Then with this we can move to the scope of organizational behavior, which is very much clear from this, that scope of OB It is being used in several fields like psychology, then sociology, then we have social psychology, anthropology, and economics. So as we can see, these are the diverse fields in which organizational behavior is playing an important role. So this was all about scope of organizational behavior. Then as we stated earlier, after scope we would be understanding the determinants or the major factors that determine how organizational behavior can be understood. The first determinant is people, because basically we will be understanding the behavior of people. Second is the structure, means the setup within which people are working. Third is technology. Then your fourth is jobs. Fifth, processes. And lastly, external environment. So these 6 are the major determinants or factors that determine how an organizational behavior is within a particular organization. Now in this next section we will understand linkage between the two terms administration and OB. So these are the two concepts about which we will understand. OB means interrelated humans working on common goals, because people are somewhere related, because every department is dependent on some other department. So it is basically the relationship between interrelated humans working on common goals. And what is the common goal? Which is that the organization should achieve its objectives well in time. So while understanding the linkage between administration and OB, first thing that we take into consideration is what is OB, which is interrelated humans working for a common goal. Second is organization. We are understanding organizations as systems. Why organizations are called as something in system? Because there is some proper set guidelines that they are following, which makes them as something working under a system. And thirdly, there are dynamic entities aimed to achieve. There is not just one fixed objective that everyone needs to achieve. The objectives depend from time to time and they are very much dynamic, means spread in several fields. So if while understanding the relationship between administration and OB, we can take into consideration 3 main elements, which are openness, and to understand the organization behavior in terms of the administration, one aspect that is very important is openness. Then is entropy, and third one is feedback, because until and unless proper feedback is obtained from all the parties involved in the organization, proper administration can never be done. So these are the 3 aspects which make the relationship between administration and OB clear. followed by this, let's get a clear idea about organizational subsystems. Organization is itself a system, but there is some other small systems functioning under an organization. So we call them as organization subsystems. This can be understood in two contexts. One is groups within the organizations. This is a subsystem, so we call it groups within organizations, and next is individual relationships. So the different aspects that we study under the organizational subsystems, one is your rationality, second is methodology, third is interdependence, then is non-summative, because every department has its own role, and last is equifinality, because somewhere all the different subsystems are treated as equal. So these are the different aspects that we can understand as something which we call organizational subsystem. After this, the last aspect of this chapter is regarding the linkage of organizational behavior to leadership. Now, a leader is someone who doesn't say go and work. He always say let's work together. So being a leader or having a leader in an organization puts a great impact on the organizational behavior. That's why we study it as an aspect related to OB. So if we look at how a leader should be, then a leader should look at, the most important aspect is that a leader should look at indicators of individual behavior and also of the groups. So this is the major role a leader play within an organization, and to mention it clearly, we can say that role of a leader includes first is he needs to describe what all he needs to achieve from the other members, then he himself should understand, third is good prediction, and last is control. So these are the qualities which a leader has to possess.